We're going to pursue every one of these until the system is as foolproof as it can be.
A lawmaker promises to act after a KXAN investigation reveals a former juvenile corrections officer was able to work inside a Central Texas high school while under investigation for sexual misconduct by a state agency.
KXAN investigative reporter Kelly Wiley found blind spots and delays across state do not hire registries.
We're going to call up the last and final panel. Isaiah Smith.
My name is Isaiah Smith. I represent myself, my credentials. I am, I guess, a student leader. I start with that agency on the 15th at one of their secure facilities at Giddings.
Days before Isaiah Smith started officially working as a corrections officer at a juvenile detention facility, he was testifying before the Texas legislature about issues he saw there as a volunteer.
I have volunteered with the agency for around 1 year and 2 months.
Smith's employment at Giddings State School began in August of 2022. But within 2 months of working for the Texas Juvenile Justice Department, he was fired. According to TJJD records, while on duty, Smith turned off his body camera. A young boy there reported Smith touched him inappropriately. The agency began an investigation. Smith was flagged in the agency's statewide database, warning every county juvenile facility in the state. But records show nearly a year later, as that investigation continued, Smith began working as a tutor for the nonprofit Austin Partners in Education, assigned to Aikens High School. Soon after, Austin ISD police say a student in the program told them Smith touched him inappropriately. Smith is now in Travis County Jail, facing a charge of indecency with the child over the report out of Aikens. The nonprofit has not answered all our questions, including if Smith disclosed his past or the allegations he was facing before being hired as a tutor. But if Smith did not share those details, we learned there's no way the nonprofit would have known. The database where TJJD flagged Smith is only accessible to other county juvenile facilities in the state. The Texas Education Agency, public schools, and educational nonprofits don't have access.
Look, we're talking about the safety of kids. We're talking about, these type of incidences. Once somebody becomes a perpetrator of this, they just continue and they don't stop. That's when I saw the story, I said I had to act. And I had to act by asking the two agency heads, what happened here?
In last year's regular legislative session at the Capitol,
Senate Bill 1849,
lawmakers, including Houston Republican Senator Paul Bettencourt, passed a bill requiring the Department of Information Resources to create one large shared search engine, combining data about abuse and neglect findings from all child-serving state agencies, including TJJD, TEA, the Department of Family and Protective Services, and Health and Human Services. In response to the letter from Senator Paul Bettencourt, sparked by KXAN's reporting, TJJD and TEA leaders pointed out that search engine is still being designed and developed, more than 6 months after the bill requiring it became law. The Texas Department of Information Resources, tasked with building this database, tells KXAN it's now only in the assessment and design phases. The agency said the current estimated completion date is the end of 2024, but that is difficult to be precise at this stage of the process. Are you worried about what happens in the meantime?
Whenever there's an issue, in my mind, what gets measured gets fixed. There's a failure here, no question. And this person should have never been around young people ever again in their life.
Both TEA and TJJD also point out Isaiah Smith was hired as a tutor at Aikens before the bill to make a statewide search engine became law. TJJD says it's now going back to older cases like his to include in that data. But until then, agencies like TEA will have to reach out for reference checks individually. Aside from TJJD's database, TEA has one of their own, and Smith is not yet listed in TEA's Do Not Hire registry. In a response letter to Senator Betancourt, Commissioner Morath pointed out a gap in the law that does not require districts to report incidents to TEA if the allegations are against a contractor, like Smith, who is not a district employee. Morath said his agency cannot compel districts to report contractors.
Notice the language the commissioner uses is very specific. He can't compel them. Well, the school district should be reporting it anyway, and this problem will be fixed one way or the other by the next legislative session.
All right, so at least one lawmaker is promising to do something in the legislature to close this gap. But Kelly, what about Smith? Where does his case stand?
Well, he's also indicted in Lee County for indecency with the child and improper sexual activity with the person in custody. Those are both related to that report that eventually got him fired as a corrections officer at Giddings State School. He is still in custody in Travis County because of charges he's facing related to Aikens. We did reach out to his lawyers and to him. Smith wrote us a letter addressing some of the allegations against him. He told us he had a settlement with TJJD erasing his disciplinary record. Well, the agency told us that's not quite true. In a statement, they said there was a mediation right after Smith was terminated. He was allowed to resign, but the agency says Smith was still flagged in its database, and they said it didn't stop their investigators from looking into alleged sexual misconduct.
Kelly, thank you so much for all that. And remember, you can read this story and any updates we receive online at KXAN.com.